This singer-songwriter is putting out music almost as quickly as Taylor Swift. Your debut album dropped in 2019 called Southern Wind, second self-titled, Dallas Burrow, in 2021, and now your third LP is about to drop June 16th called Blood Brothers. Now, I hear there's a cool story about your dad in this title of the LP.
Yes, ma'am. There sure is a pretty cool story. So my dad's a singer-songwriter himself. He was never like a professional or anything like that, but he writes really great songs, and that was a big part of what kind of got me started playing music. So my dad's story is that back in the late 60s and the early 70s, he was hanging out in Nashville, in Austin. In those days, guys like Townes Van Zandt and Guy Clark and some of the great singer-songwriters of all time were hanging out in those cities. And so my dad became, got to be friends with Townes and those guys. And there was one night where Townes Van Zandt and John Lomax III and Richard Dobson, who were all, legendary music characters, were all hanging out, and my dad was there. And they were having a kind of a, late night party, and they shut the bar down, left the bar, and went out and were hanging out afterward. And Townes suggested that they all become blood brothers, that they cut their arms and mix their blood and become blood brothers. And so they did. And so I've grown up with these stories of, from my dad of he being blood brothers with Townes. And it was just kind of like this mythical thing in my mind, always has been. And so that was really the backstory for this record.
And so your dad became blood brothers with Townes Van Zandt before you were born?
Yes, ma'am, that's right.
So Townes' blood could be running through you.
I mean, it depends on how you look at it, but yeah, that's kind of the that's kind of the thing, right?
This new LP drops June 16th. You're on tour right now with Charlie Crockett. Charlie Crockett, did he co-write one of the songs on this LP?
He did, yeah. Me and Charlie have been buddies a long time. We met up in Northern California, almost 10 years ago. And it's funny, we met at an open mic. So, he and I have watched each other's careers kind of progress. But, yeah, we've written several songs together. And one of the songs on this record is a song called The Only Game in Town that was on a record he put out a few years ago. I think it was maybe Music City, USA. It's very much like a Townes-inspired sort of song. Townes has these great kind of like poker card-playing songs he writes. And so Charlie came to me with this idea a few years back. He had this chorus, and I kind of helped him flesh out the verses about this card game, and so that's one of the songs on this record. On
the tour you're doing right now, do you guys play that together?
No, we haven't really worked it up with the band to play it live. And his version is a little different than mine, which I think is kind of a cool thing. He cut it his own version, and I kind of reworked it for the track that wound up on my record. So we haven't performed it live together, not yet.
It would be really cool if both of you performed each of your versions in one show. On his set, he does his and you do yours. I'm sure the crowd would love it. Going back to your dad, is there a song on this LP that your dad wrote? Or that is your dad, one of your songs?
There is actually on each of, you mentioned a third full-length record. I've cut and recorded one of my dad's songs on each of my records. There was Guitar Man on Southern Wind, as well as I Come and I Go on that first record. And then there's one called Outlaw Highway on the last self-titled album. And on this one, there's this kind of like classic country style heartbreak song called Exhale Flames. And actually, I got my dad in the studio to sing a duet on it. So, I've got my dad singing on this record on a song he wrote.
Oh, he must be loving this, eh?
Oh, he's very proud. And too, it's like I said, I started playing music a lot because of my dad, and so it's been amazing to see him be able to kind of watch my dreams sort of like come to fruition and for him to be a part of it. And we were just last week on one of these dates opening for Charlie. We, played in front of a couple thousand people up in Lubbock, Texas, and I got my dad up on stage to sing with me, and it's a pretty amazing feeling.
Oh, that must have been hard to get through.
It's special. And I tell you what, it's funny because it doesn't matter how good the rest of the show is. Inevitably, anytime I get my dad on stage, people will come up to me afterward and just be like, God, it was really good, but I just love that moment with you and your dad. I mean, it's always like that. So, we really enjoy it. And so I do that stuff as much as I can, getting my dad involved.
And you have a son of your own. He's, 6 years old?
That's right. Yes, ma'am. Yep.
And does he get up on stage with you and Grandpa?
We have done it a couple of times. We call our son Tex, and Tex has started to mess around on the piano and the guitar a little bit, and I got him a guitar, when he was really young, and so he's always had one around. But yeah, I've had him up on stage a few times. He's still got a ways to go before he's going to be like really ready to perform. But I think he's going to be a natural though.
Has he seen any of your shows?
Oh yeah, he's been coming to my show since he was a baby. So yeah,
okay.
He's been to a bunch.
Okay, so back to this album, Blood Brothers. The producer, Jonathan Tyler.
Yeah.
This is the first time you've worked with him.
Yeah, this is my first time working with JT. Jonathan Tyler, he's a brilliant guy, and he's and a really incredible artist in his own right. Yeah, the last couple of records I made, in different places, and that's always just been kind of an organic thing. Wherever I'm at and the people I meet, I just try to kind of, work with folks on my own accord, and it's just true with Jonathan. In this case, he and I met around the time that the last record was coming out, and we started talking about studio stuff and different things, and he showed me his place, and we hit it off, and it was a lot of fun getting to work with JT, man. He's, like I said, just a really brilliant dude. Speaking
of brilliant, that new music video for Out My Window, love that video. So good.
Hey, thank you so much.
And that's kind of a taste of what we can get out of this LP. And you can look it up on YouTube. It's already got, I think, 4,000 views, and it's been up less than a month. Like, well done. How long did it take to do that video?
Thank you very much. It just a couple of days. The videographer that I worked with on that, and we've got several videos coming out for each single off this record. But my friend Corey Morrison, who's out of Dallas, Texas, we had done a music video for a song called Guitar Man that was off my first record a couple of years back, and so he and I had been kind of itching to get back together to work together on some more stuff. And yeah, the Out My Window video, I'm really pleased with how it came out. We shot it in the course of 2 days. He's great, man. We just have a really good kind of work flow together. We both sort of have a similar vision, and he takes direction really well and gives direction really well. And it was funny because a couple of days that we had to shoot, it wound up being just like this freak, freeze here in Texas. It got down below freezing, which it doesn't do very often. But I felt like the cold kind of lent itself to the overall aesthetic and the look of the video.
Like that fog on the water?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It was really well done. And that song is available now through your website. Blood Brothers is put out by Soundly Music, but you can get that song now, and then the rest June 16th.
That's right. Out My Window's available. There's actually a second single called Starry Eyes is also available as of last month, and there's another music video for that one too, which kind of features my family, which is super wholesome and super sweet. So check that out if you haven't seen it. And then there'll be another video coming out in the next month or two for that song that I wrote with Charlie called Only Game in Town that we shot out at Willie Nelson's ranch. It's
cool.
It's kind of like this, it's like this throwback Western town, sort of like Wild West card game vibe, almost like Tarantino style. And I don't have a release date on that nailed down just yet, but like I said, it'll be out between now and the release of the record, I think, which is, like you said, June 16th.
And we can find out anything we want to know that is coming out at your website, dallasburrow.com. And you are on tour, as we mentioned, with Charlie Crockett right now. And then you're going to be on your own for the end of the summer, right?
Yeah. Covering, the whole Southwest from Louisiana to Arkansas to California to Arizona, Santa Fe, New Mexico, and dates back in Texas with Charlie. And then I'll be heading out as a duo here next week or two, heading up through the Midwest, up to Springfield, Missouri, and back down through Oklahoma and Nebraska. And then I think we go back out to the West Coast again in the fall. And so yeah, we're working.
You're busy, and another album coming out. So skip a year, and then 2025, we'll see your next album?
It might be sooner than that.
Oh, okay.
I've got a couple things in the works. I've got a batch of kind of like cowboy songs that I'm wanting to record here in the next little while, and then I've got another batch of songs that are more kind of like modern themed, current subject matter to my life and stuff like that I want to record as well. And I've got plans with a couple different producers knock those things out. So be on the lookout for new music sooner than later.
Awesome. All right, Dallas Burrow, thanks for taking the time with me, and best of luck on the rest of your tour, and we're looking forward to June 16th.
Hey, thank you so much. I really appreciate you taking the time. It's been a pleasure speaking with you.